How's it going? Welcome to my second video on the Comic Book Presser channel. Thanks for surviving the first introduction. I had to just finally get it rolling. I tried to do it over and over too many times, and now whenever I watch it, I'm like, oh, it's a little cringy, but I was just trying to get some information out. So please like and subscribe, leave your comments, let me know what other videos you want to see in the future. This one I'm going to go over CBCS versus CGC because I've got a heck of a lot of questions in just the last 2 weeks about where I think people should send their books. And I'm not going to make up your mind for you, but I will just give you some of the information that I have learned through the years. So with CGC being so slammed over COVID, a lot of people have been complaining about their quality assurance. I think the interesting thing is actually going to be if all of a sudden CBCS gets another 100,000 books because everyone switches, what's going to happen to them? What's their turnaround time going to be like? So if everyone switches over at one time, it's going to kind of be, they're going to be dealing with the same stuff. So I have some signature books here, that's CBCS. I have been a witness for CBCS at some cons for quite a few years. I actually haven't done it now for a few years, but I always loved to be a witness because I could just go get the book signed. I would always let the artist know I was getting this signed and pay the appropriate amount. But then I didn't have to track down any witnesses, and it was just great to have the freedom to be at a con. I always do it for San Diego Comic Con. And I could be at the whole con the whole time, then just go to the CBCS booth at the end of the con and just do all the paperwork, and that was awesome. Now this one is one of the older style cases, and I actually was not a huge fan of these because they just have a little bit of wiggle room. And at one point I wasn't sure if I was going to continue to do much CBCS, but here we have their new cases, and they are total badass, and they are sturdy as hell. These things don't move, they don't budge, they don't twist. I love these new cases. These are good. The new labels are pretty cool too. They also have, okay, so then here's just your classic CGC case. For example, it's really, if anything, this one's even stronger, but this isn't going to budge. I love the CGC cases. And then this is actually an example of the CBCS, it's when they grade it, but they don't put it in a case. And then it has the CBCS stickers on the back that's basically tamper-proof, and they do not do a restoration check, but they do put a grade on here. Now I'm not really into getting that done, but I had some of these oversized turtles graded when I was a witness. It was, I forget, it was an LA con. And I didn't realize that CBCS did not grade magazine-sized books. So the only option I had to keep the verification was to get it in these bags. I'm assuming someday Beckett/CBCS is going to get the magazine-sized books, and then I'll go ahead and send it in so they can take it out of this, put it in the regular case, because I'm not thrilled about having it in this. So yeah, so a lot of people have been asking me which I prefer and which they should do. It is a shame that for a long time CBCS doesn't seem to sell for as much. People argue against that, but I'm just saying from my experience, they don't sell for as much. I think that's actually going to be switching around soon. And so I have some key books that are in CBCS that I purchased that way. Amazing Spider-Man 20, it's an 8.0, so it's a little over $2,000 at the moment. I have X-Men number 5, I think it's an 8.0 also, and so that's an expensive book right now. I forget if it's around, that one might be around $2,000 also right now, with all the prices going up so much. So I'm not scared to buy key books in CBCS. Now, I think I was a little disappointed in some of these because I did buy about 4 extra copies of Maestro, and Clayton Crane had the signing at Frankie's. And one of my good buddies is a CBCS facilitator, and he was there with me. And so I just went with CBCS. But I felt like they sold for a little bit cheaper than they would have if they were CGC. So after that, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to keep going with CBCS. But now I already am like, yeah, I will definitely be sending more stuff to CBCS. I send to both. I've mainly have done CGC though. CGC's turnaround times have been completely crazy. CGC has had a lot of technical issues lately, but I still like the company. I'm a dealer, and I also give everyone my 15% discount. So if you want to send through my account, you send your credit card information, and you can get a 15% discount, which actually was 20% discount until they just did their new tiers, and they changed all dealers' discounts from 20% to 15%. So, like I mentioned, I had about 5 people this week ask me if they should switch to to CBCS, because honestly, about 90% of the books that I press go to CGC. Some go to CBCS, but the majority of them are going there when it's just a couple books that someone needs to pay the $25 to get the signature verified, because CBCS will do that. And they actually put it in a yellow label now too. So if I had this Crow book and it was by James O'Barr and I was confident it was, but it wasn't a witnessed signature, I could send it to CBCS and pay, it's 25 or 35 bucks, and they'll verify it, and they put the yellow. Now this one, I was the witness, and I was the witness, so this one wasn't one of those cases. So here's what my suggestion is. If you have only done CGC and you're curious about how CBCS is going to work, I think you should go ahead and send an order to them. Maybe if you're not real sure and you don't want to send 100 books to them, maybe you just send 5. Maybe break up your order and send 5 to one and 5 to the other. But it would be good to test the waters and see what you think of their customer service. And also, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how they're adapting, because I know CBCS is getting more orders. The hobby is booming so much right now. And I know we've seen some big dealers on Instagram too that are so sick of CGC, they're totally switching and sending hundreds of books to CBCS. I'm going to be mainly focusing on CGC, but I'm always going to be buying in CBCS and sending to CBCS. So I kind of go both ways. So again, everyone that's been asking me, I say go for it. If you haven't sent to CBCS before, go for it. Send some to them. Maybe just try a little bit of both for right now and see which one you're happier with, and also see which one comes back in the amount of time that you're comfortable with. Both offer fast tracking also. So here we have the examples. The new cases are awesome. If you guys want to ask any questions below, I'll go ahead and try and answer those too in a different video, or just in your questions. The one other thing I will mention is the price difference. It is a little bit cheaper. CBCS, I believe, is right around 20 bucks, and CGC has just raised theirs to 22. So if you use my 15% discount, I guess you're still saving a little bit more for CGC. But with these new cases, they're totally awesome. I think both cases are great. I think it's time to experiment. I really hope, I want CBCS to be exactly like CGC in the sense of their value. I don't think it's a big difference I don't think they should be cheaper. It's just as good of a quality. And also, everyone's heard this, but Steve Borak is one of the main guys at CBCS. He's the main grader. And he's one of the founding members of CGC. So they've both based their grading principles off of the same background. So I crack out CBCS books and send it to CGC quite a bit. I have actually never cracked out a CGC to send to CBCS, but that's just because I'm only doing what the customers are asking me for in those cases. But it is often about the same grade. I mean, sometimes you can get that bump just because it's a book that needs a bump. And also, I actually feel like, from my experience, it's almost harder to get a 9.8 with CBCS. So it's not like they're loose graders over there. So yeah, send it out and test the waters. And you know what else would be cool? I know typically people just don't want to spend extra shipping, extra forms, but if you have some new variants, send a little bit to both and see how it goes. Let me see. I wanted to talk about the cases. I wanted to talk about the background. Oh, and also I can send them after pressing to either company. You can tell me you want some to go to this one and some to go to this one, and I can break it up, and the shipping will be on your invoice. I'll just double I'll double the shipping, so we account for it going out to 2 different places. So it's kind of a ramble, but I just wanted to go over some of the options. The new cases are great. They always even have the raw graded option. So yeah, let me know what you want to do. When you do your forms, you can select when you do your submission forms, you can select if you want to go to CGC to CBCS for each individual book, or you can pick for the whole submission. So I can send them wherever you want. Thanks a lot.